Alrighty. What's good, everybody? It's your boy lame.pv here, back again. It's been a little... What's good, everybody? It's your boy lame.pv here, back again with another video. It's been a hot minute, and I've been wanting to make one of these videos for a little while now, so I figured I'd just make this video. You know, it's been nice out, it's been feeling good season, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys tips to improve your portraits. Now, this isn't going to be like instant hacks where you download this app and you get like instant banger portraits. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be like little tips you can apply to your work as you shoot, as you edit, and you'll see like gradual improvements over time. This is kind of things that I've picked up on other videos from another amazing creators like Peter McKinnon, Jessica Kobasi, Julia Trotti, Mango Street. All those people are amazing, and I've learned so much from their videos over the past 2.5 years of shooting that I kind of wanted to make my own little version of this. But here are a few tips that you can apply to your portraits that hopefully make them better. It may make them worse because I'm not that good myself. So without further ado, let's just jump right into them. First things first, let's just get it straight out of the way. Let's talk about gear. Now, I know gear doesn't make your photos good, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. But I want to recommend that you start off getting a portrait lens, like a lens that's made for portraits. Now, I'm not saying that you can't take good photos with a kit lens. It is possible, but kit lenses aren't really designed for portrait shooting. They're kind of made for like all types of shooting for beginners. Another thing with kit lenses is they don't have fast apertures. Now, I'm not saying you need fast apertures for good portraits, but if you want bokeh, if you want to separate your subject from your background, you're not going to be able to get that on a lens that's f3.5 to 5.6. You need a lens that has a decently fast aperture, and I'm not even saying that you need to go out and buy an f1.4 lens to take portraits, as they can be expensive as well. I'm just saying get yourself a good beginner portrait oriented lens. Now, in this example I'm about to give, I'm going to be referring to these lenses as if they were full frame, going on a full frame body. If you have a crop sensor camera, you need to add in the fact that it is cropped by 1.6. So whatever the focal length you're looking at, you gotta times it by 1.6 or whatever your crop factor is, and that is the focal length that will actually be when you put it on your camera. The focal lengths I recommend you start out with is either a 50mm or a 35mm, and I recommend these two focal lengths for first starting out is because these are good middle ground focal lengths. You know, the 50mm isn't too cropped in, but it's not wide. It's a good middle ground, and the 35mm is a little bit wider, but it isn't too wide. You know, these are two main prime lenses that people shoot portraits with. These two lenses are my main portrait lenses that I use. Now, obviously, these L lenses are a little bit more expensive, but I know with example 2 with Canon, you can get the 50mm 1.8 STM for like literally $100. $800? I don't think that's the thing. $100. So get yourself a portrait oriented lens. Whatever system that you shoot on, try to get yourself one of those beginner kit lenses. A 1.8, that's all you need is f1.8. You don't need a 1.4 just starting out. You can get a 1.8, an f2 if you can find that. I don't know if that's a thing. I know the Canon has a 35 f2, or even f2.8 is plenty to give you some decent bokeh and low light performance. Tip number 2 is always focus on the eyes. I feel like I see this a lot, especially with new portrait shooters, is the eyes aren't in focus. If the eyes aren't in focus, the photo is trash. You can't use it. It's unusable. Now, you may be able to save it with like sharpening and everything like that, but it's just not gonna look good. It doesn't even have to be like crazy over the top sharp, because I know a lot of people don't really like when the eyes are overly done. I know I can get very carried away with enhancing eyes and making sure and overdoing them. So you want to make sure that they're sharp and focused, because that's just going to draw your viewer into your subject, and it's going to just evoke that emotion out of your viewer that you're trying to evoke out of them. Especially an up-close portrait, you want to make sure those eyes are in focus. I've seen photos where the eyes are blurry, and it just does not, it's not a good look, and it just doesn't look good. It looks wonky, it looks off. So make sure you nail the focus on the eyes. Number 3 is distracting backgrounds. You don't want your backgrounds to be busy or distracting. And I feel like I see this a lot in portraits where the background, you know, there's a lot going on, there's people walking, or there's buildings, or there's something happening, shooting behind your subject, and you don't want that attention veering off from your subject. You want your viewer to be all eyes, all focus on the portrait of a person you're taking. That's why you're taking the portrait of that person, because it's all about them. So you don't want their attention going off elsewhere in the background, whether it's like a big building or someone doing like a backflip or something, I don't know. I'm not saying that your background needs to be 100% plain or clean, but just be very aware of your surroundings. And if it's a busy background, kind of maybe turning like this can make a huge impact. I can't stress enough, if there's like your camera bag or a trash bag or just any type of item that you can easily move out of your background, move it. Take the extra 5 seconds and move that item. Or shooting in the zone and my camera bag's in the shot, I'll just be like, whatever, I'll get it out on post. And that is a huge no-no. So if you can see something in your background, whether it's like a cup or just something that shouldn't be in your background and will make your photo 10 times better if it was not in your background, remove it. Take that extra few seconds to remove that thing from your background. It's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to look so much better, and you don't have to rely on Photoshop to clone out or crop out or whatever you want to do with things like that in the background. So number 4 is getting it as perfectly close as you can while shooting instead of relying on post. Now, there's a few things with this one that I want to tell you guys about, and first things first is don't rely on post to save your problems. Try to get it as perfectly close as you can in camera while you're shooting, so when you take it back to Lightroom, you don't really have to do much work with toning and correcting lighting adjustments and everything like that. It's going to be very close to how you edit or how you want to edit if you get it as close and perfect in camera as you can while shooting, because that's just going to make your workflow and your life while editing just 10 times easier. You save a lot of time by doing this because you don't have to go in and edit and like correct all these different extreme settings if it's like blown out or if it's too underexposed. Don't have the mindset of, oh, I just save it in post, whether it be edits or cloning something out like I said in the previous one. And the final one is lighting. Now, I feel like a lot of people don't really take lighting into consideration, and I get this question a lot with my photos is, how do you keep them so consistent? Like, how do you have the same feel in your photos all the time? And that's because I'm always shooting in the same conditions for the most part. Now, sometimes I might shoot at night, I might shoot indoors, whatever it may be, but I like the soft and moody vibe to my shots. So I can't just go out at 12 in the noon and just go and shoot on harsh sunlight. It's not going to come out, moody the way I like it. So say you plan to shoot with a model and you guys are like, okay, let's start at 3. And it's like the middle of summer, it's super bright out, and it's just gonna come out harsh and it's not going to be lit very well, and it's just going to be washed out. So instead of still shooting at 3, plan to shoot at like 6. Try to shoot in golden hour if you want those softer tones, because you're not going to get them at 3 p.m. when the sun is beaming. It's going to be generally a brighter shot. Study lighting and see what lighting applies to the type of work that you're trying to do. There's nighttime, there's dusk, there's dawn, there's midday, there's overcast, there's shooting indoors when it's bright and sunny. There's a whole variety of lighting that's going to determine how your photos and the mood in your photos will come out. So keep lighting into consideration as to what style you want to do. Perfect example of this, look at Brandon Wolfel. He only shoots at night or when the sun's setting. Now, obviously, he shoots, different here and there, but majority of his page is nighttime shots with his subjects being illuminated. So if you want that consistent feel and look to your photos, you got to shoot during the same time of day. So if you're planning to shoot for 3 p.m., maybe wait for a few hours until the sun is setting so you get those soft and moodier tones. There it is, guys. There's a few tips I have personally taken from videos over the past 2.5 years that I've learned, and I apply all these things to my shooting. While I'm shooting, I'm always keeping the stuff in the back of my head. So maybe this will trigger something when you're shooting. You'll be like, oh, I remember when that really bad photographer told me this tip. I'll try that out, So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helped you out in any way. If it did, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Is where I post all my photography and mediocre tweets. If you want to keep up with me and what I do, you can check out my stories as well. I post a lot there. I'm very active on Instagram, and that's where all my photos are. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you learned something new, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.